Okay, now we're back on the GitHub security. Now we're back on the GitHub. Now we're back on GitHub. Let's just show you how you can look at an individual repository and see what the GHAS level in your personal repository as well as organization repository. So if this is my personal account, I go into my settings and I can go into code security and analysis, and I can see that I don't have anything automatically turned on at the moment for dependabot alert, dependabot security updates, secret scanning as well. I can either disable it or enable it, and I can also have it automatically enabled for, so I can just tick this box and we have enabled for everything. I don't have to hit a save button anywhere. As you can see, the tick box over here is the way for me to know, yep, makes sense. Now I have removed it. Similarly, I can just have, hey, dependable. Now, dependency graph is the only thing that I have enabled for all new private repositories. I'm not asking for any vulnerability reporting for that. So I'm going to enable this now, also for private repositories as well. So this is how you see how your GHAS is enabled. I can have it for enable all. It should enable that for everyone. But this is just one of the ways to see it. Now, another way for you to see this would be if I was in the organization. Now, I have an organization as well. So if I go to organization, now, as you can see, it shows me I am logged in now as Cloud Security Bootcamp, which is the organization. Now, if I go to settings under this, and then within settings, if I come to security, I have authentication security, which I can sign up for, require two-factor authentication for everyone in the organization. So I can enforce multi-factor authentication. Code security and analysis, I can, as mentioned earlier, I can have this enabled for every new repository that is created inside the organization, but anything old would have to be retroactively fit in. So I don't have any actions or secrets, but you can see dependabot, all of them have been put in here. Now this is also to verify the domain. Yep, that's pretty much how you would verify what GHAS access you have. Now let's take a bit more, I guess, better example where I can just go into one of my repositories. Let's just go this one. This is a public repository. I can go to security. I can see that I don't have enabled dependabot alert. I don't have code scanning. I don't have secret scanning because I haven't enabled it. So I don't have alert. However, because dependabot, these are disabled as well. Code scanning is disabled. Secret scanning as well. Okay. Now that you know, because I have not enabled anything. Now I can just simply come to settings, and I can apply this directly. Oh, this one over here, and now I can just basically enable it individually if I like to, but I rather do it at a top level. So I'm going to go to my profile settings, and I'm going to go under security. So I'm going to say dependency graph. Yes, I want dependabot alert and dependabot savings as well. Okay, sweet. So I have that set now. So this is how most people do that as well. So welcome to how it is done in real life. Okay, so this is the repository. I can go to security, and I can see security is enabled, but I have, because this is an existing repository and I just enabled dependabot for all the new repositories, I have to enable this manually. So I'm going to do enable alerts. I've done that. Yep, I have enabled dependency grid. I'm going to enable the vulnerability reporting for this repository, as you can see. And let's do security updates as well and alerts. All right, so now we have a private vulnerability reporting as well as the dependency graph and dependabot. So it should start populating information over here, but this time you would notice that if I go to security, my dependable alerts are enabled. My private reporting is enabled because I've enabled them now. I can do secret scanning alerts if I just do enable in setting. I thought I had. Oh yeah. Yeah, secret scanning was right at the bottom, so I didn't really see it. So now secret scanning has also been turned on for this particular repository. Now, if it was, it would get appeared under security, and you should be able to see under here if there are any secrets. Now, at the moment, there have not been any secrets found. There has not been any vulnerability or depend about. But I know I have a vulnerable repository that I keep for occasions like these when I want to show you something. So if I can name, the challenge is to not remember the name of the repository. It was, I want to say, npm package. So it was, nope, maybe it was node. Nope. Maybe I called it vulnerable. Nope, I did not. That classically vulnerable. This is a different repository. This is basically how you identify and slowly make sure that you don't end up having a lot of repositories, because what happens when you're trying to look for just one repository that I know I have, which I just cannot remember the name of for the life of me. But this is what people were doing. Oh, there you go. Cognito V2 demo. That's the one. Now, this is a really old repository that I've had for a while, 6 years ago, as you can see. So I know it has a lot of, there you go. It has already got 7 security alerts for me. I didn't have the secret scanning enabled, so let's just enable that, and maybe that comes up with something as well. Okay, so let's go to security. I had dependable alert. I had security advisory. I can see 7 dependable alerts. This is what it looks like when you have a dependable alert. Now, we're going into a bit more detail about what these are and what you do with them, but this is how you would notice how you to see alerts within a repository. Now, this is at the moment if I go back to code, this is a public repository. However, we want a private repository as well. What can we do with a private repository? So I'm going to go customize repositories. I want it to be type is private. I have one private collection. And if I go in here, if I go choose security, if you notice, I only have dependable because that's what my plan allows me for. So that's all I have. I do not get a lot more features, so I can find out more about how to do code scanning. I can enable alerts, but primarily I can just do dependable. If I only have a regular plan, and if although I'm allowed to create private repositories, but I don't get a lot of security features for private repositories. That is the end of the lab. Let's continue the lesson.